Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to a midweek, yes, a Wednesday edition of 5 Minutes with Phil. Hey, why don't I go ahead and say this? If you know somebody that could benefit from one of these devotions, would you kindly share that with them? And we're not trying to get popular, we're not trying to get viral, we just want to help people. So, if we deal with the subject here in one of these 5 minutes videos that you think could really benefit a friend, go ahead and share that with them. And I'd love to be a blessing to somebody else because that's really why we do this. Okay, so keep that in mind. Let God use you. All right, now let's jump into the scripture for today. Philippians chapter 3. Chapter 4. Philippians chapter 4, verses 11 through 13. Paul makes a statement in these verses in chapter 4 that actually run quite contrary to what our culture would normally say. In fact, Philippians 4:13, this tends to be a verse that gets taken out of context quite a bit. I want to share it with you in context today because I think you'll really be blessed by it. So check this out. Paul's saying this: I am not saying this because I am in need, for I've learned to be content whatever the circumstances. I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I've learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want. I can do all this through Him who gives me strength. What's funny, the King James Version of verse 13 says, I can do all things through Him who gives me strength. And sometimes this really gets taken out of context because it's like, well, I can, lift this barbell as much as I can because I can do all things. I can run fast. Well, okay, great, but I don't think that's what Paul's saying here. What's Paul saying? What's our lesson to learn from this? Paul says, look, I know what it's like to have a lot of money, and I know what it's like to have nothing. I know what it's like to have all the resources that I need, and I also know what it's like to really be in need and not have much at all. And he said, in both circumstances, I've learned how to be content with that. And it's on that thought that he says, I've learned how to be content because I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. In other words, God gives me the strength that I need to be content in all circumstances. Now, you might be in a situation where you're really in need, and you might be in a situation where things are really, really difficult for you. And we're not minimizing that at all here today. But that doesn't mean you have to be discontent. That doesn't mean that you have to be angry. That doesn't mean that you have to think that you're a victim. Paul said, I have learned in every circumstance that I am in how to be content. Why? Because God gives me the strength to do that. My prayer for us would be this. Because let's face it, we're facing some challenging times in our country right now. Really challenging times in our country right now. And I fear that it might get worse. So, followers of Jesus Christ, we're going to need to get this whole thing about being content. And through God's strength, learning to be satisfied no matter what our checking account says, no matter how much is in the fridge, or no matter how life is treating us. And I want to challenge you today to really embrace that. Learn the secret to being content. It's not through willpower. It's not through a strong personality. The secret to being content is relying on the strength that God gives you to be content. He will take care of you, because Paul later says in the same chapter, my God will supply all my needs according to his riches and glory. So with that in mind, I want to challenge you to work hard and be deliberate about being content. All right, my time's up. I got to let you go. Love you. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.